Okay, well, I'm back, and for a Christmas miracle, I'm finally have another review, which has been a very long time since I've done one, but now finally getting back in the swing of it. And here's what we got today: this giant Rio Grande EMD SD90/43 Mac. I have no idea what that means. I could look it up, I guess, but I just don't care enough to figure out why there's a slash in that name. But anyway, we'll get it out here and take a look at what it can do here shortly. Alright, now here it is, loaded up on the track. I got a nice freight car train behind it. Don't mind the bags of Legos that you see spartered around. I'm in the middle of a big build of the famous Hogwarts Castle. Back there it is, half done. I'll find a spot for it somewhere whenever I eventually finish it, but we're not here for that. We are here for this guy right here. So I'm going to go ahead and get it started and run this puppy around. So let me back this up just a tick, and let's get going. Now, I've actually had this one for a while now. I got it to complement my other one, my other Kato one. Not as, or it's definitely a different model, as you can see and tell, maybe. It's a lot longer than this other one. And I got it to help supplement this guy because, for whatever reason, these Kato ones don't have any sort of traction tires on it. So when I started running some long trains with my BNSF one, I noticed it would struggle, especially going up the hill and stuff. So I got this guy back here to supplement that, to help out getting it up the hill, and to just pull along long trains in general. Alright, well, here is a decently long train. I got the BNSF one up front there, pulling there, and then all the way back here we got our guy. I used to run these double E up front, but then I noticed it works a lot better if you put one in the front and one in the back. So that's what I've been doing when I run these long trains. And look at that, something came uncoupled. So let me fix that. Oy, long trains, am I right? Some of you people know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so you know, I used to run them double up front, which was actually looking cool, BNSF up front and then the longer one right behind it. But ever since I put it on the back, it does tend to work a lot better. So that's what I do. And of course, I only have one Kato coupler on the back right now, so that's why it runs backwards. I could flip it around and put it on the front there, but I just haven't gotten around to it, so yeah. Right, so overall, it looks pretty good. Lots of awesome tiny little details. It even comes with a pack of a lot of accessories, road names, little tubes and handles and bars and stuff. I only put two on, the front ones there, in white. The rest I kind of left off for now. Maybe I'll get around to it at some point, maybe not, I don't know. But it looks good just as it is. So overall, I give it a 7. Nicely done from a looks perspective. Alright, we're gonna unfortunately touch on the problem section up front here, because it does have some of its own. I gotta dish out. Namely, I think this thing's way too long. At least for the Kato track that I'm running it on, because when you have long cars behind it, it tends to pop it off the track when it's turning around corners. Because I don't think this little guy back here can make that swing. And I think it has something to do with the longness of the engine itself. This is probably like the longest one I have that does that, or even the longest one, period. But you'll see I got a couple examples of what happens when it turns those corners and it just can't keep the cars behind it on track. So I gotta give it a 3, because it's just, at some points it's just unusable, unfortunately. And I'll really only use this when I'm running a long train and need the backup power with that BNSF one. And it just cannot keep it on the track. In fact, I specifically bought this car here just so it can run behind this one, because I thought it kept pushing it off because it was so long. And what I ended up doing, if I can pop this open, so taking this out, you'll notice inside I put some gallium liquid metal in there. This type of metal melts at room temperature, if you can believe it. So I kind of angled it up, melted the metal down, and then let it sit so that it can give a good weight in front to help keep those wheels on the track. But you saw it, it still comes off. So this didn't really work as well as I hoped, which is pretty unfortunate, because it comes off and derails probably once every time around the circuit, or maybe even 2. It happens quite often, but you can see, like, trying to line it up there, if I can get in there, just how much it swings over, and it just can't keep up, because it's just so long. I think the wheelbase, or at least the coupler from the wheelbase is just too long to, every time it goes around corners, it tends to derail the car behind it. So I don't really run this one too often because of that, which is unfortunate, because I really like it. I like it especially when it's combined with that other one. So it is what it is. Maybe I'll sell it, I don't know, if I can get a good price, possibly, because like I said, I don't really use it too often or too much. But yeah, this is definitely a problem. Well, I don't know. I guess 13 cars may be too much for this guy. So I'm going to shorten it a little bit and see if we get some better results. Because I keep trying to run this around and do a review for you guys, but it keeps derailing that second car. It's really annoying. So, yeah, we're going to try it like this and see if we get better results.
Okay.
The materials used seems to be decent quality as well. I gave it a 7. Nothing really to speak home about there. Anything extra special or cheap in quality. It all seems fairly, fairly high standard. So that's a fair grade there. Now I can't help but think that these models are fairly common. Maybe not this big long one, but I see these around. So I give it a 4. Maybe that it is even generous, but you know, I think that's a fair trade. As for that noise level, it is pretty quiet. In fact, it is one of the more quieter ones, as Katos tend to be. So really good there. I give it an 8 because it does a pretty good job on the noise department. For the power to get this sucker moving, it's decent, nothing special. I gave it right down the middle at a 5. Now, because it struggles to pull anything long, as discussed in the problem section, you know, even though the motor strength seems to be pretty decent, you know, I still have to give it a 6 because it just can't pull anything longer than what I did, because it just pops it off the track no matter what I do. So that's definitely going to dig it back some, an unfortunate event for sure. That's going to drag this score down overall, I'm pretty sure. Alright, now here comes your slow crawl test. It's obviously not a steam engine, so it doesn't have the wheel action that I like, but it does move really slow and super smooth. Almost no noise at all. Just a little whine. So that's nice. I like it. I'll give it a 9. It was kind of jerky when I slow it down a little bit more than this, like it would stop around corners, but I mean, this is a good pace right here for a slow crawl. Look at that. Not too bad for that. Looking good there, especially against the background. Of course, I only have 6 cars behind it still. But hey, what more do you want? This looks pretty good. So I do like the look of the thing, but the problems are just going to drag it down because I can't use this practically with a long train independently of that BNSF one. So, you know, I think I paid, I don't have the exact dollar amount because I lost that. This was one of the first engines I got when I first started collecting about 3 years ago. I think I paid somewhere around $80 on eBay, brand new, which was a decent price at the time, but for what I get, like, I wanted its own independent super engine that could pull a lot. And I don't think I got that because it just doesn't work well. It doesn't work the way I wanted it to. So with all that said, I think $80 is really steep. I'm giving it a 3 for the deal I got. I might even sell this back. I don't know yet. I'm still debating on that. We shall see. Just because I don't really even use it that much, you know? It's just kind of sitting there in the display case, and while I kind of like the modern look of the engines, I definitely have a bias, if you will, towards Steam and the older ones, and non-American engines too, because I think I just see these too often, right? They're running around town, you see them everywhere. At least this modern style, right, is all over the place. So I don't feel like I'm attached to these kind as much as some of the other ones. So maybe I'll sell it. I don't know, because it doesn't really work as I hoped it would when I bought it. So I definitely I'm keeping that other BNSF one. I'm never getting rid of that because I really do like that one. But this one, it just isn't there. Like I just wish it would work better than it does. Alright, well, when you total it all up, it comes in at a whopping 54, which means that this is rated 22 out of 26 of the ones I've done so far. Definitely towards the bottom, and kind of expected when I sat down to go do this one. It's really just one problem overall, really, is the fact that it derails the cars behind it when it's pulling something. At least longer than 6 cars. But of course that problem perpetrates into the other ratings, right? Like it's gonna pull down the motor strength. It's gonna pull down certainly the derailment, you know. So it should be better than it is, but I'm not surprised it got what it got. Like I said, I might sell it at some point, maybe try to get my money back. I think it's still worth probably $80 to someone. Because like I said, I got it brand new, so I know it's a more modern engine. And Kato, so, you know, that's always a plus too. They tend to hold their value pretty well. But that'll be it for this one. Hopefully there's more coming, because I probably have only done, well, I've done 26, like I said, and that's probably less than half of what I got. So definitely a lot more in the pile that I can eventually get to do a quick review here. Because I like doing these. I think these are a way for me to document what I have, so that when I do come around to sell an engine like this, I'll at least always have the video that I can look back and say, oh yeah, I remember having this one. That's why I like doing them, and I like putting videos together. So why not merge the two loves and have some fun? So hopefully there's more fun around the corner with a lot more reviews on its way.